If you're into content creation or you're getting into content creation, something you've probably figured out is that lighting is very important. Whether you're doing videos, photos, or you're doing streaming, lighting is very vital to the whole business. Now, if you're unfortunately like me, then you've probably gone through various types of lights and spent money on various pieces of budget tech, only to realize that you probably should have spent more money on 1 or 2 really good lights that would last you the long run. So when Sokani reached out to me to check out their versatile X60 RGB light, which is a cob light, I really had to check it out, and so far, I really like it, and I wish I had something like it earlier on. Let's talk about it. Now, I should note that Sokani did send this out to me for review, but this won't affect my review in any way, shape, or form. As usual, everything you're going to hear here will be my own personal opinion about the product. So that being said, let's get on to the review. Now, the whole thing came in a really nice bag, which has, of course, hand straps as well as extra straps on the top, so you can attach various other things like an umbrella to it. And of course, you have a shoulder strap when you gotta carry it over your shoulder. On the bottom, we also find some feet to keep things protected when you put it on the ground. If we open it up, we'll find the whole thing is padded with a nice padded cover to keep things safe, and in the middle, there is a middle divider, which is Velcro attached. Now, you'll see some straps on the side, of course, and these are to keep the lid open at an angle to make things easy for you to access. And on top of the lid, there is a zipper pocket where you can put various cables and stuff. Overall, a very nice bag to carry your light. I wasn't really expecting this to come in the package, but hey, it's a nice bonus. Now, in the bag, you're actually gonna get the cob light itself, a reflector hood thingy, which uses a Bowens mount, a power adapter and cable, as well as a warranty card and a manual. Now, the Sokani X60 RGB is completely made of metal, which I can appreciate because I'm very much a hardware guy. And if we look above and below, we can find out that this is actively cooled with a fan, because this light does get hot. Cob and cob light stands for chip on board, which you can see right here. The LED array can get really bright, but also very hot. And that's where the fan comes in to keep it actively cooled. Now, if you're worried about noise, it only makes a light hum, and it's quiet enough to not get picked up by my mic. Now, onto the stand mount. It is made of metal and is adjustable by just unscrewing this bit here and then adjusting it to the angle that you want it to. Sokani went with a more rosette-like connection for the mount, which is definitely a good choice. By design, it's just very solid and stable due to the teeth just connecting with each other. As for the rest of the mount, it's a very standard mount that should fit on any other kind of regular light stand, and even has a hole for an umbrella. Now, you're also going to get a reflector hood, which can be attached with the Bowens mount on the light, which will focus the light into more of a spotlight. And the nice thing about the Bowens mount is that it's a standard mount, so you can find a lot of other Bowens mount accessories for this light. Alright, now with everything being fine, there has to be at least one thing I didn't like, and that's the power cable. I found that the cable that was attached to the brick, which then attaches to the light, was a little bit short, and this can cause problems. Like if you set your light at a higher position, the brick will end up dangling a bit, so you will have to affix it to the stand. While this problem is very easily fixable, it's still mildly annoying. Now with that covered, we can plug in the cable and turn on the light, which we can access on the back of it, where we'll find all our buttons and knobs to control the light, whether we're turning it on or off, or connecting it to various other lights through groupings and different channels. We can also use the knobs and press the knobs, as the knobs are also buttons to change different modes. Any changes made will be shown on the screen, whether we're changing the value of the color temperature or changing the brightness intensity. And if we press on the knobs, we can change the mode, so we can now adjust the values of the colors of the light. Through pressing the knobs, you can also find that there are 10 pre-programmed lighting effects which you can use when you're filming, all of which can be adjusted in terms of brightness as well as speed of flashing or color changing. Sokani also has an app for their light, which is way easier than just going onto the back of the light. All the settings you can adjust on the back of the light can also be adjusted from the app itself, and I honestly think it's much easier to do it this way. In terms of performance, it does a really good job. I mean, it's a light that's extremely bright, and it can go from 100% in terms of brightness all the way down to 1%, which from what I'm hearing is actually pretty uncommon in cob lights. It also goes down to 0 to basically just kind of turn it off. But yeah, in terms of performance, it's great. I like it. Now, one of the reasons I was very interested in this light is because I wanted to replace my main light, because I only use one light to brighten up the scene. So, for example, I'm currently, let me just get that off. You see that? That's the light I'm using. So let's switch it up to that thing right there, huh? Okay, now I got it attached. As you can tell, it is definitely a little bit more harsh of a light. And that's mostly because I'm not using like an umbrella with it or anything, and I haven't even put this guy on it. If I do, I get more of a spotlight kind of effect. You know, if I put an umbrella, it'll look a lot more diffused and less harsh on my face. Alright, now this is how it's gonna look with an umbrella diffusing the light, and honestly, I quite like it. It does a much better job in terms of like the aesthetic that I personally want than my previous light setup. And I'm gonna be honest right here, this is gonna be my my main light from now. It's gonna replace my old lighting setup, and this will be my new one. Now, something very important I should note is that the light doesn't come with a stand, so you will have to buy that separately. But honestly, they're not that expensive, so that's not too much of a problem. But if you are gonna buy this light, you know, just make sure you buy a stand. And to be fair, it also doesn't come with an umbrella, so let me just change to this attachment so you also can see what it looks like. All right, now here's how the light's gonna look shining upon me with the hood attached to the X60 RGB. And I also had to turn down the intensity of the brightness of the light because the hood also will intensify the light that's shining down into a more focused spotlight, which I am currently under. And it's got an aesthetic of its own that I also kind of like because, you know, my room in the background also just fades into darkness and the focus is on me. And that brings me to another big thing about this light, and that's versatility. This light is just very versatile and is able to give you a lot of looks depending on what attachment you put on it, whether it's the one that's included or just not having it on at all. Like if I take it off right now, this is how it's gonna look. And if I want to have that softer effect, I can put my umbrella on it, but you know, do mind you will have to buy an umbrella separately if you're gonna do that. Regardless, even if you don't have any other attachment and you just have the ones that come with this light, it looks really good. I actually kind of like that spotlight, so let me just put that back on. There we go. Honestly, I think the greatest strength of the X60 RGB is its versatility, just because, you know, there's just so much you can do with it. I can start with a scene where I'm about to sing and then get arrested because I tried to sing only to get interrogated and then realize I can murder with song. Like I said, it's a versatile light. You can do a lot with it, and if you can big brain things, you can use whatever you have around you. Like right now I have the light nice and diffused, but I'm not using an umbrella. I'm actually using my wall and my ceiling with the light pointed straight at maximum brightness. Now with versatility aside, something I also really like about the X60 RGB is the amount of precision I can get in controlling all the settings, such as the color temperature. I actually get a tangible numbered value for what the color is, whether I'm using like the HSI or the RGB, or maybe I'm working with just your regular light and how warm and cold it is, whether I want more of green and magenta compensation, or I want to deal with the color temperature. That way I can work with it here and have an easier time dealing with it in post. Just knowing the numbered values on your camera as well as on the light will make your life a lot easier when you're editing the video. Alright, so you get that it's a really good light, but how much is it gonna cost, you might be wondering, and it's $200. And honestly, I think it's completely well worth the price considering all that it can do. It's just a really good light. It has a lot of control, a lot of versatility. Like if you're for sure going into content creation, or you already are a content creator and you just want one good light, or maybe you just want to build up with good lights, this is the good light to get. It also has a lot of upgradability down the line because it uses a standard Bowens mount. You can put a beauty dish on it later, or put on like an umbrella if you want it to be softer. So the world is your oyster from there. And well, that's pretty much all I got for today. So if you liked the video, do leave me a like by hitting that like button down there. Give me some thumbs. And if you loved it, do subscribe for more content and hit that notification bell so you know when I'm posting next. If you didn't like the video, there's always that, the thumbs down if you just didn't like it. Anyway, that's pretty much all I got, so I will see you guys next time.